Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast today. Cleveland Clinic's Minority Men's Health Center hosts its 10th annual Men's Minority Health Fair later this month. Dr. Charles Modlin joins me this morning to talk more about this event and why it's important to the community. Then later we will hear from Kathy Neal and Sandra Bean Milton of the African American Genealogical Society. They will explain how to research your own family history. And later in the broadcast, we'll hear from Highland Hills Police Chief Antonio Stitt and teacher Shalana Satterwhite, who will explain their work to eliminate juvenile crimes. Good morning again. I'm Leon Bibb. This is Kaleidoscope, and so we begin. Good friend of mine, Dr. Charles Modlin, Medical Director and Director of the Minority Men's Health Center at Cleveland Clinic. Good to see you, Dr. Modlin.
Yeah, thanks for having me again.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
It's good to have you on the broadcast. You're always here talking about the Minority Men's Health Fair. What is that?
Well, actually, April 26th, we're celebrating our 10th annual Minority Men's Health Fair. And what it is, it's our chance to offer the community a variety of free health screenings. And we're particularly reaching out to African-American males and other minority males. All males are invited, but because of the higher incidence of healthcare disparities, we're targeting especially minority males.
Well, is there a specific reason you look specifically at minority males?
Well, you know, minority males suffer from a large variety of healthcare disparities, a higher incidence of hypertension, diabetes, heart disease, a variety of cancers, prostate cancer, colorectal cancer, kidney disease. And so it's important that we educate, you know, this segment of the population about the importance of early detection of the disease, preventative health care, because if we can detect diseases in early stages, we have a greater cure rate for those diseases.
This is a free screening, right?
Yeah, it's a free screening. We're offering comprehensive screenings. We have about 350 volunteers from the Cleveland Clinic and outside organizations ready and willing to serve the men to come in and do these free screenings from head to toe.
Yeah. Where are you going to do this at, Charles?
It's going to be at the main campus of the Cleveland Clinic. It's 96th and Euclid Avenue at the Glickman Tower. And there's no advanced registration required. I mean, you can actually go to our website and register in advance, or you can just show up on the day of the event.
Now, though it's Minority Men's Health Fair, I know you will see anybody who shows up. You don't have to you can be a minority, you can be a majority, you can be whatever.
Oh, exactly. You know, we welcome everybody to come in.
I've got a little card here, and we'll get a shot of this, because why do you see this as so vital? You've been doing this. This is your 10th annual now. Now, why do you continue to do this, Charles?
Well, you know, because of the higher incidence of certain diseases, especially in the black community, the first year, and this health fair has been very successful. Because of the health fair, we've actually been able to detect a variety of previously undiagnosed conditions. In African American males, we've detected previously unrecognized cases of hypertension, prostate cancer, diabetes, heart disease, kidney disease, and many of these men, you know, this is their only source of health care. Also, many of the men, because of the way in which this health fair is conducted and organized, many men feel more comfortable coming into the health fair to get their screenings. And not only, you know, our efforts don't stop at the health fair. We actually have weekly minority men's health clinics every Wednesday at Cleveland Clinic.
Every mother, every wife, every daughter, every woman out there wants to know, why is it that men don't want to go to the doctor?
You know, one of the reasons is because fear of the prostate examination. You know, traditionally we've always done what we call a digital rectal examination to screen for prostate cancer. But now we rely more on the blood test. It's called the prostate specific antigen blood test. We still offer the digital rectal examination as an option. So we just want to let the men know that you can come in, just get a blood test to screen for prostate cancer. You know, don't shy away from, you know, coming in to get these screenings because of that. But oftentimes men, I think, are more stoic, they're more macho, you know, they think that it doesn't matter, whatever happens to them doesn't matter, and so they really put off undergoing these.
We try to quell that storm. We try to quell that idea.
Oh, exactly.
And I will tell the men out there that I've gone through this many times, having the prostate examination. It's 5 seconds, 10 seconds probably.
Exactly.
It's no big thing, and you just get it done, and it's over with, and you want to walk out there knowing that your prostate is in good shape, because if it's a problem, you catch it early. This is a treatable disease if you got a prostate problem. So I just put that out from a personal point of view. This is real easy. I've been done it for years, and I do it every year. This is vital to our community as well as keeping people healthy. That's another one of the driving forces for you, Dr. Modlin, over at Cleveland Clinic, isn't it?
You know, unfortunately, the statistics show that African American males on average live about 7 or 8 years shorter life expectancy than Caucasian Americans.
Yeah.
You know, which is unfortunate. A lot of this is from preventable diseases.
Yeah.
If we can detect hypertension, for example, at earlier stages, if we can control it and treat it, we can avoid a lot of cases of kidney disease, heart disease, stroke, and other conditions.
You've got a list on your little card here about all the kinds of screenings that you're going to be doing on April the 26th. Starts at 5:30 in the afternoon and goes until 8:30 in the evening. It's 3 hours. Blood pressure, body mass index, bone density, cholesterol, diabetes, screenings for all this, glaucoma, skin cancer, overall wellness. You are looking at everything.
Sure. Actually, we've included dental screenings, screenings for glaucoma, kidney disease. We also offer free medical health assessments, urologic health assessments, men's health assessments. You know, this is our 10th year, and we're looking for as many people to come out as possible.
Let me put a phone number on the screen if we have not already done so, where you can get more information on what we're talking about. 216-445-7550, and you can go to clevelandclinic.org/MMHC.
Yes.
And you can get more information on everything that Dr. Modlin and I have been talking about. And one more thing, if you find a problem there, you're right there at the clinic.
Exactly.
I mean, if there's a significant problem, you just wheel them into the next room there, and they get admitted, or certainly go to the emergency if there's a problem.
And we have mechanisms to follow up men throughout the year. And you know, as I said, we have our weekly Minority Men's Health Center clinics as well.
Yeah, I cannot stress this too much. It is the Men's Health Fair sponsored by Cleveland Clinic. Dr. Charles Modlin is the director of the Minority Men's Health Center. It's going to be April the 26th. And what day of the week is that, Charles?
That's a Thursday evening.
That's Thursday evening, April the 26th. Starts at 5:30, runs for 3 hours. You've got to do this. If you do not see a doctor and you cannot afford to see a doctor or something like that, you need to come to this free screening. This can save your life. Right, Dr. Modlin?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, very well said.
Always good to have you on the broadcast, Dr. Charles Modlin.
Thank you.
One of the good guys in Cleveland. He's trying to keep us all here and keep us healthy. Thank you, Charles.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
You
One
too.
of my favorite people here. One of my favorite segments is to talk about health and all of us hanging around as long as we can. I'm going to take a break. We'll talk about family research, genealogical research, after we do this first. Welcome back to more of Kaleidoscope today. The African American Genealogical Society in Cleveland can provide the tools to help you research your family history. President Kathy Neal and co-chair for the Education Committee, Sandra Bean Milton, are here to talk about the mission of the organization and about a conference coming up in May. Good to have you with us, Kathy Neal.
Good to be
and
here.
Sandra Bean Milton, who's sitting on the outside there, of the African American Genealogical Society. Tell me about the African American Genealogical Society. What is it that you do?
Basically, we help people find their folks. From the very beginning, we organized in 1990, and our mission is the same, which is to assist beginners with their family research, to assist people in networking among people with the common heritage, and then to go out into the community to educate them about genealogy.
Sandra Bean Milton, all of us want to know about our ancestries, how far we can go back. Certainly, that's common for humankind, isn't it?
I think it is. I think it is, and I think it's especially important for young people. I think it makes a difference in how they perceive themselves and how they see their role in our society and in our world. And I think it changes all of us.
Now, for black people in America, it gets difficult because we run into that area called slavery.
Yes.
Where there are not a lot of documents, last names may have not been there, nothing written down. How do we get around that?
It is possible. It's not as easy as it is perhaps if you are of a European descent, but it is possible. And at that point, you may have to begin to research the white person who owned your family if they were enslaved.
Yeah.
and you use their documents to identify your family.
When you go back far enough, you'll find that there are white people in the family line, in the bloodline.
Sure
That's
do.
certainly in my bloodline.
It certainly is.
Some of my bloodline goes to Ireland. Some of it goes to Africa.
Absolutely.
Some of it is Native American right here on the
Absolutely.
continent. We're going to show some things in just a minute, but I want you to talk about your conference coming up on May the 5th.
We have a conference here in Cleveland that's downtown at the Cleveland Public Library on Saturday, May 5th. It's going to run from 9:30 to 5:30 p.m. and we have 2 national speakers that are ready to provide a lot of good and interesting information to help you find.
And that's going to be at the public library, the
Yes.
main branch of the Cleveland Public
Correct.
Library.
Louis Stokes.
Yeah. How do people is this open to anybody who wants to go?
Yes, absolutely. Anyone that would like to attend.
Just come on. You don't have to register.
It would be good if you registered, but you can just walk in.
Well, let me I'll put a website here on the screen. AAGSLEV. You see at the bottom of the screen, African American Genealogical Society of Cleveland.org. AAGSLEV. You can get more information. But if we show up on Saturday, the May 5th.
That's right.
Okay. You brought some things which I have taken a gander at, which I'm going to hold up here, and we're going to show this here. You've done some research on me. And if we can kind of zoom in on this on camera 3, this is you tell me what this is.
That's a World War I draft registration card. All of the males in the United States who were born or between the 1872 to 1900 were required to register to vote. I mean,
for the military draft. This is my grandfather, Lee Bibb, down in a place called Hartselle, Alabama. He was born in 1876, and he was too old to go off to the war in 1918.
They still had to register.
But he still had to register, and this is my grandfather's.
And it has interesting information on it, including the fact that he has gray eyes. Did you notice that?
He has gray eyes, and,
Yes.
and Lee Bibb was, to be quite frank, he had one of those genealogical backgrounds. His father was white, and his mother was black. That would be my great-grandparents. Was on my father's side, but that's Lee Bibb. And how you found this photograph, I have no idea. This is my Uncle Carl Crowell. If we can get a shot of that one.
There are a number of websites for newspaper research. There is a ProQuest that the libraries in the city do carry, and it's free of charge for you to go into the library to search out. There is a historical plain dealer index that has the plain dealer back to 1845, and you can search on a name.
That's my mother's brother, Carl Crowell, home on furlough from the war in Korea, after the war in Korea. And the little guy on the over on this side right there, that's my cousin, Allen Moreland, John Allen Moreland, and the guy on the other side, that's me, pointing at Uncle Carl Crowell's ribbons coming home from the war. In a call and post, I remember when the photograph was taken, I never knew what happened.
And there is a call and post index.
This is vital stuff, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
I mean, you can go back and research all of this, right?
There are a lot of things that you can do online. However, everything hasn't been digitized. Everything's not out there on the web. So there are times when you can go do your legwork in person, and there are numerous resources.
And once again, that conference is going to be May the 5th, Saturday the May 5th, at the Cleveland Public Library, the main branch, starting at 9:30 in the morning.
Right.
They also brought my mother and father's, we won't get a shot of this because you really can't see it on camera too well, but this is my mother and father's license for application for marriage license. Before they got married. They wanted to get married, fell in love, and there are their signatures right there.
During World War II.
During World War II. Thank you so much for being on the broadcast. We do appreciate it. Kathy Neal and Sandra Bean Milton of the African American Genealogical Society.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this. Good to have you with us on Kaleidoscope today. Highland Hills Police Chief Antonio Stitt and teacher Shalana Satterwhite are co-authors of Change the Parent, Change the Child, a book. And they'll talk this morning about working with parents to positively influence their children. Good to have you with us, Shalana Satterwhite and Chief Stitt. Good to have you both with us. What was your inspiration for writing this book about Change the Parent, Change the Child?
I just pretty much went to Chief Stitt, and I was having issues with my own son. He was giving me a hard time, and I had tried everything else, and nothing seems to work. So when I went to Chief Stitt, and he coached me through how to get my son together, I realized, I said, wow, this stuff actually works. We need to do something. We need to maybe write a book or something to help other parents.
Chief, what did you tell her that got the two of you started on putting this book together, Change the Parent, Change the Child? And what do you mean by that?
Just from research and and talking to young people, talking to other parents, and just over years of studying and getting more information about how to develop these skills. Basic things, being consistent with discipline, not rewarding bad behavior, making sure the home is structured and organized, things like that. Just very basic, very doable concepts that we started beginning to share. And those are things that I share with Ms. Satterwhite.
And you see this kind of thing as chief of police in the village of Highland Hills.
Absolutely.
You see too many problems, and so you kind of take it from a police officer's point of view as to
that's what began the whole process. Because I was just so tired of arresting young people for various crimes and just hearing their very jaded opinion of law enforcement and what we do. So I began to mentor them and go to our detention centers in our community and talking to young people and mentoring and coaching them. And that's how the whole process began, just by talking to them, and then eventually talking to their parent.
Shalana, you're a substitute teacher in districts throughout Northeast Ohio.
Yes.
What is it that you see that parents can do? Give us a thumbnail sketch. Of course, other than buying the book and reading the book, what can they keep in mind?
They can keep in mind that if you send a message that you're not consistent, a child will pick up on that, and he'll take advantage of that. And that was one of the issues that I had with my own son. At times I would put him on punishment, and then, you take him off punishment, and he's looking at that, and he, is developing a pattern, like, wow, she's not serious. So just pretty much like Chief said, staying consistent, not giving your child explanations. Your child is not owed an explanation whenever you say, no, you can't have this, or you can't do this. We as parents, oftentimes, we forget that, and we do that.
Chief, tell me about the Man Talk program. What is that about?
That was a program that was designed when I began to go to the boys' school and talk to the young men. I developed a program where I would go there on a consistent basis and talk to a number of kids, the same number of kids for 5 weeks. And that the name Man Talk came because it began with me just talking to young men and giving them concepts of how to become better human beings, how to not end up back in jail. And so it gave the name Man Talk.
The name of the book is Change the Parent, Change the Child. Where can we find this book now?
You can check out www.changetheparentchangethechild.com. You may also go directly to the publishing site, which is www.greaterishepublishing.com.
We've got that on the screen. Or you can make a phone call and get more information on everything we've been talking about, by dialing 888-909-1979, as you see at the bottom of the screen. Chief, if parents did the right thing, your job would be a lot easier dealing with young people on the streets.
Absolutely.
And we're not just talking about the city. We're talking about the suburbs, all of Northeast Ohio, aren't we?
Absolutely.
What would be your advice? If you could give one piece of advice.
The one piece of advice that we give in our book, we talk about it all throughout it, is we want parents to be willing to examine themselves, examine their parenting skills. If parents examine their parenting skills, they would see that a lot of problems that they have with their kids will be eliminated by just doing that. Be willing to examine your parenting skills.
And the parent can be the model for the child,
right? Absolutely.
Children behave as their parents behave.
Absolutely.
If there's violence among mom and daddy, then there can be violence among children.
Absolutely.
Correct? So we're trying to get around that point of view. Leave us with a thought of why this is so vital. We've got about a minute remaining. Leave us with a thought on why this is so vital. Change the parent, change the child.
Well, I would have to say that, speaking from my own personal experience, I thought that I was doing everything right. I thought that, there were no issues with me, that it was my child. And like Chief said, you got to be willing to examine yourself. And most parents, including myself at the time, I pointed fingers at everybody else and my son. And when I took responsibility for my actions and started following some of the concepts that are in the book, that's when things start to change.
And you've made a change in your life and a change in the life of your child.
Complete change, yes.
The name of the book is Change the Parent, Change the Child. We've got the phone number where you can get more information, the website where you can get more information. It's all at the bottom of the screen. Thank you so much. Antonio Stitt, who is the police chief there in the village of Highland Hills, and Shalana Satterwhite, who's a substitute teacher and the parent.
Yes.
Thank you both. And you too, I'll bet, too. Good to have you both on the broadcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the broadcast. In a moment, we'll check in with Marsha Maccabee of the Urban League. Here's Marsha Maccabee of the Urban League. Marsha, I have people stop me on the street, says that Marsha Maccabee is one smart woman. That's what they tell me all the time.
Well, I have people stop me and say, we love seeing you and Leon together. So we have a good time. Yeah. We do. Listen, Leon, we've had a great broadcast today. I want to take the opportunity now, as I'm sure you do, to encourage all of our viewers out there to contact their loved ones, all the males in the family, dad, husband, boyfriend, niece, nephews, any cousins, anybody.
The man next door.
The man next door, and get them to come to this Minority Men's Health Fair on the 26th. So important.
And right there at Cleveland Clinic.
Right there at Cleveland Clinic.
Free screening, open to any man, free screening of everything.
Exactly.
Inside and out. And we all have to be looked at inside and out periodically.
We certainly do. And with employment being what it is and healthcare now, this opportunity to get it free, we need to send that information out to the community.
Yeah, we've got a minute remaining. You want to comment on the Genealogical Society?
I do. Also very excited about the information that came out there, and it has intrigued me to do some more research on my family and find out more about, I probably know back to my great-grandmother, so I want to go back a little further than that. It's important to know where we came from.
And what you, and what your ancestors did to make a life for themselves and a life for you downrange.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
I want to know who loved to talk in my family, because I got it from somewhere.
And you're going to give it to somebody else. It's in the DNA.
I already have my granddaughter.
It's in the DNA.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Marsha. Always good to have you. That's going to do it for all of us. Be well, everyone. From Kaleidoscope, take care. Thank you.
Kaleidoscope, a weekly public affairs program brought to you in partnership with the Urban League of Greater Cleveland, Kaleidoscope Magazine, and News Channel 5.